Welcome again to the VoolPlayer Q&A weekly webinar. As you know, we're holding these weekly calls in order to answer any questions that you as users may have, also to provide training on any advanced features, to cover use cases on how you can leverage video in your business, and also to showcase new stuff that we've been working on. In addition to which, we also strongly value your feedback during these sessions, as it's really what's driving future improvements for VoolPlayer. So any positive or negative feedback that you might have, constructive criticism, we're all ears. So the format of the webinar is pretty straightforward. At any time that you have a question, or if you came prepared with any questions, just feel free to drop them in the chat box. If you are unable to attend the webinar, the replays are available both on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/VoolPlayer, as well as on our Facebook group, which if you haven't already, we do strongly encourage you to subscribe or join to those. Excellent. So without further ado, and considering that we're kind of running late, and again, apologies for the technical difficulties and the missing the time zone change there. So thank you for your patience. So let's get to it. A couple of things right off the bat that are completely new with regards to VoolPlayer and that we want to make you aware of are, as I mentioned throughout the last couple of weeks on the webinars, so actually last few months, is that I mentioned that everybody who already signed up to Enterprise are going to be rather glad that they did and that they locked in their pricing when they did, because as you know, as I've mentioned, we've increased the enterprise pricing, and the reasoning behind that is really that VoolPlayer version 4 came out 2 years ago, and since then we've added a lot of new value to the product and to the users, and the pricing increase reflects that added value. So the enterprise is now $62 per month when billed annually, and I believe $77 when billed monthly. You, of course, who have already locked in your price, these pricing changes are not going to affect you. You have the locked in rate at whatever you signed up as. Also, we've added a new plan, which is the startup plan. You can look at it as almost an enterprise plan with some nice features and some unlocks that the Pro doesn't have. If you're interested to learn more about these, I'll paste this link in the chat box so you can review it. There's a nice comparison license information in the docs that breaks down the differences between the now available free startup and enterprise licenses. So here's that article for you if you want to review the differences between those plans. But basically, the startup plan is aimed at providing more powerful features than Pro, with bandwidth, with professional uses, larger storage capacities, better features, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But with the enterprise now being in a league of its own, the storage is way different. We've started breaking down integrations by basic and advanced integrations. We have some restricted features and modules on Startup. For example, Startup doesn't have funnels, etc. So if you are interested about those new plans, I encourage you to review that documentation link that I sent out. Bill, is there anything that you would like to add with respect to the new plans?
Not really. I think you pretty much covered it. And like you said, if there's any questions about the feature by feature comparison, that article does a pretty good job of explaining it. And if there's something that's not clear, go ahead and ask the help desk, and we'll straighten it out for you. But yeah, no, everything's copacetic.
Excellent. All right, so moving forward with the updates, we've added a few new integrations in VoolPlayer that we think are going to be rather interesting. So let me just open up integrations over here. And there are corresponding docs article, and we just started putting some new YouTube videos out there. So we've added a custom webhook integration, we've added a Google Analytics integration, and we've added an email notification integration since the last release. So I don't know if we missed a couple of webinars because of the issues with Webinar Jam. So I don't know if I've gotten to cover the ConvertFox integration. That's also been by popular requests on the webinar call. So that's now added as well. I think that was added sometime early October. So we have ConvertFox, webhook, custom webhook, and Google Analytics, as well as email notification integrations are added. So the purposes behind all of these are to connect those integrations both to the opt-in or email capture gate, as well as to a new feature which is called view notifications. So for example, now let me actually open this up. I have some emails that I got through the email integration. Let me just open up my Gmail on the other window, just so I'm going to show you my personal emails on the webinar. Let's see, WooPlayer. Give me 1 second.
I don't know about everybody else, but I'd like to see your personal email.
Would you? All right, here we go. Here's one for opt-in. So this is what it's going to look like when you get confirmation that a lead has been captured via the email capture form. And also here's what it looks like when you get a notification that your video has been watched. So how are these set up for the email? It's pretty straightforward. You basically just provide the email address which you would like to be notified at, and then from the video settings themselves, you're able to choose or connect that integration to one of those features which I've mentioned. So you can either connect it to the opt-in lock, email capture gate, as an integration. And actually, I think I do have it connected here. So from here, you're going to have that new email integration. And as I mentioned, the newly added feature also has been, if you come over here to video settings, you can toggle on view notifications, and then you can select which of the integrations you want to have the notification that somebody has viewed your video be sent to. So in this example, I had email, but you can also connect a custom webhook as well as Google Analytics, and then those events are going to be forwarded to those integrations. And as I mentioned in the docs over here, you have documentation on how those integrations are set up and how they're expected to work. So that's with regards to integrations and view notifications. Also, another new feature which was added, but I'm not sure if we covered it 3 webinars ago, so I'll just mention it again. Actually, I put out a video on YouTube. Let me just bring that up because I think it's going to be best. It's going to be easiest to illustrate it through that. Google Analytics, that's the one I'm talking about, tracking overlay interactions. So let me just mute that real quick. So in this video, as you see, I have 2 overlays on my video, and I just, in the video, I walk through what I'm doing and how I'm setting it up. But basically, now in Analytics, you're going to be able to see the overlays as well as viewers' interactions on the view heat maps. So then and here's the sort of the annotation behind that. You can see that user has seen the first simple annotation overlay, and the second one they've never seen. And then I go through another scenario where I kind of skip over the first one a little bit, and I click on the second one, on the link in the second one, and then you can see that we started storing as well as displaying the events for those interactions with the overlays. So here in the second example, I click on this overlay, and that event is then registered in Analytics, and I think also annotated below in the data, as you can see. So I don't know if you can see it from the YouTube controls there, but it says then simple annotation viewed at, clicked at, second 10, I believe it says there. So that's also one of the enhancements that we've added for analytics inside of WooPlayer. On that note, we started shifting focus a lot with regards to the priorities on the roadmap towards the analytics. So pretty soon there's going to be some new features, actually new modules rolling out with regards to how the analytics are going to behaving to give you a better understanding of your entire ecosystem and the videos within it, displaying the analytics for videos across all of the different sites that you have, all of the different viewing filters that you're able to see. So basically, you're going to be able to put together reports for multiple videos or all of your videos and their performance, and then break it down by different filters, as well as to automate those reports so you can get them on weekly basis or monthly basis on emails. So that's one of the things that's sort of coming up next in WooPlayer. Did I forget anything new, Bill? There's been a lot happening in the last few weeks. I don't know if I missed anything else.
So let's see, new integration. I feel like there is something.
There's something, but I don't know what it is.
Personalization. Did you talk about that?
We've talked about personalization. Yeah, we have. There's been updates to the billing section. Now it's somewhat more easier to understand. Basically, a bunch of smaller improvements and bug fixes that have come out throughout the last few weeks. All right, so that much from me. Now let's see if we can get to some questions. Let's see. Who was first? Looks like Jamie is asking, in the comparison, ability to expand consumption, is that talking about storage and Turbo CDN? Yes, it is. So we are reserving the capability to expand storage and turbo bandwidth, the cloud delivery network bandwidth, only to enterprise plans. So the startup plan will not have that ability to expand their storage and bandwidth until such time that they decide to upgrade to a higher tiered plan, or rather enterprise. And I think when you compare the pricing, I think the jump in storage and bandwidth is equivalent to the price ratio. So I think you get 4 times as much storage and bandwidth on the enterprise than you do on startup. So it's a logical step, and then from that point onwards, you can escalate those consumption needs further. Is that right, Bill? Yep. All right, cool. Stefano is saying, I use my videos on my online school. Therefore, I disabled the WooPlayer page of the video. Okay. Now I need to use the video in an app which doesn't allow me to embed WooPlayer videos. Already tried the fallback code. Therefore, thinking to re-enable the WooPlayer page. Is this safe enough? It's safe enough. It's safe enough as long as nobody obtains that URL. But I'm not sure if you want to enable the watch page. I'm assuming you're going to send the link to somebody, right? Or are you thinking of masking that link somehow? But basically, so what Stefano is doing, as you know, each WooPlayer video has its own watch page, which you can use to share your videos with others if you don't embed them on your site. And of course, there's an ability, if you don't want your video to be publicly accessible, you can come over here to video page customization. You can disable this video page when this link becomes private. But if it's public and you send this URL to anybody who has that URL will be able to access that video. It's somewhat paradoxical question in that if you share it, it's not going to be safe from anybody who has it. In other words, can people taking courses find the URL of those videos?
Is he asking? Maybe he's asking if they could see it. We're not from like the source code of the platform. Is that what he's referring to? You know what I mean? We wouldn't be able to. We wouldn't know unless we knew the platform is.
Okay, let me explain. That might be useful. If you can elaborate a little bit on that use case, Stefano, just confused with regards to if you want to use the link for the watch page, how is not somebody going to see it? Suzanne is saying, in the meantime, we'll come back to Stefano when we get a little bit of a clarification with regards to what the question actually was. Suzanne is saying, I haven't really used WooPlayer since I purchased. Where is the best place to start learning? The best place to start learning would definitely be in the documentation. Let me just open that up. Docs, WooPlayer.com. There's a section called Getting Started, I believe. Getting Started. And this gives you a quick overview of how to create your first video, how to refer to some video tutorials that cover the basic modules inside of WooPlayer. And once you've gone through this and you're able to create your first video, publish it on your website, get an understanding behind the analytics, as well as the understanding across the different modules and what WooPlayer offers, a good place to go after that would be use case examples. So this is also a good section in the docs, which breaks down those different modules and some of the most popular features like the opt-in lock and the password lock and how they're set up and what those features are intended to do. So let me send you a couple of those links. So Getting Started would be the best place to get started, as well as those video tutorials. Definitely refer to those. The YouTube channel always has a lot of new stuff coming out. And let me just get those use case examples as well. I would refer to them as well. What's really usually a good way to start learning WooPlayer, and we highly encourage this, is to just elaborate what your use case is and how you envision to use videos in your business, and just freely reach out to our support. Our support is not necessarily there only to troubleshoot technical issues, but also to help you gain understanding of everything that WooPlayer can do for you. Because I think last time we were sort of putting together a breakdown of everything, I think WooPlayer had 100+ features. So that's really hard to learn through documentation, or even just to document, because there's a lot of moving parts, and you never get, and as you know, each week we put out a new feature or two. So keeping a constant open conversation ongoing with support with regards to what your business use case is helps us help you the most. So if you have some sort of a vision with regards to what you want to accomplish with videos in WooPlayer, feel free to just write that out to our support team, and then we can suggest maybe some ideas on how you can leverage WooPlayer. Let's see, do we have any other questions? Did I skip over anything while Stefano is explaining? Seems like I have all the questions covered. So let's see just if Stefano provides an explanation on that previous question. There it is. I'm not able to embed videos on real-time whiteboard software, and I need those users to see the videos. These users are not going to share the URL. The problem is avoiding users of my online school to get the URL of a video from the embedded video. All right, that makes more sense. So basically, you are just hoping that the people from the whiteboard are going to see it, whereas the people from the courses are not going to see it. And to answer that as bluntly as I can, the only way for people from the courses to see it is, let me just open up a demo.com/test. Is through the source code. So I think I have a video embedded on one of these posts. So here I have a WooPlayer video that's embedded. So if somebody's watching the course, the only way for them to get to the URL is, where did that load? Let me just, there it is. All right. The computer's slow for some reason, is to go directly to the source code of your page and then inspect it and then try and find where that URL is residing. So here they will need to look, and there they can find that URL. So if you are of the belief that somebody is going to go through to this length and you believe that they have the technical capacity to do so, it's not that hard, to be honest. So your link is basically visible to the public through the source code, so somebody could dig it out. I'll just leave it at that. That's the only way to get that URL. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I understand what your issue is. Why wouldn't you? What you could do is you could clone that video inside of WooPlayer. So, for example, you can keep the embedded video as private, and you can have its settings that the watch page is private and not available to anybody else. But you can just go ahead and clone that video. So I don't know, for example, I can have this video, and then I can just come over here to clone that video. And once I've cloned it, I can have that video be the one that's publicly available to the people watching from the whiteboard. So that might be a way to do it. If I don't know if you need to keep that to a single video so you have all of the analytics in one place, but if that doesn't present a problem, then you can basically have two different videos, one for the people that you want it to be available and one for the people taking the courses. Will cloning use double storage space? No. When you clone a video, it's using the exact same source as the original, so there's no additional storage space being occupied. They can also just screen record a video. That's a good point. With security and videos, somebody can always turn on screen recording, and that's really hard. They're losing on quality there and frames per second and stuff like that. But that's always a way to snatch somebody's videos. Just turn on Camtasia or something. That will also be super cool for analytics. Yep. Glad we could help there, Stefano. All right, let's see if we have any other questions in the meantime. None that I see. Bill, was there something that you wanted to add? Or add?
Nope. Just wanted to join for fun.
All right, cool. Excellent. Well, thanks everybody for joining this week. If you have any other questions which we didn't get to, feel free to reach to us at support@woolplayer.com. And then we have one last question. Let's get to it.
Yep.
Yeah, Steve, new potential customer. In the startup versus enterprise, you mentioned basic integration versus all integrations. What are the differences? Advanced modules and features versus all integrations. What are the differences other than storage? So the differences between the features are all listed in the, actually, I think I have it over here in the chat. I sent it out in this article. So here in the license information, you have the breakdown of sort of the general breakdown of what each plan is entailing and what's their what are their consumption levels like. But if you click at the end of that article, there's a compare all features link, which goes to this comparison chart, which breaks down every single individual feature entirely, and in it you can see what's on startup, what's on enterprise with regards to the individual features as well as the modules, etc. With regards to the integrations, the only integrations which are not on the startup plan are the newly added integrations. So that's the email integration, the Google Analytics integration, and the webhook integration are enterprise only. Ludwig is saying, is personalization ready to put in use? Yes, exactly. It is. It's been for some time. So if you come over to the docs and you just search for personalization, you're going to get a lot of information with regards to how it's set up as well as what integrations are supported. We currently now have Intercom, HubSpot, ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, custom webhooks also support personalization, et cetera, et cetera. So I do strongly encourage you to give this article read. If you weren't able to make it work, make sure you contact us at support@evilplayer.com so that we can figure out what exactly doesn't work in your use case. But it's been ready for some time now, and people are actually using it quite successfully. And that's interesting, Demio. All right, here's that article. All right, cool. We'll wrap up. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining this week. Hopefully, we'll see you next week. And I wish all of you have a great remainder of your week. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.